we have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest.
I am a revolutionary, and you're going to have to keep on saying that. You're going to have to say that I am a proletarian. I am the people.
As a councilwoman, do you think you should really be in handcuffs? Does that send a good message? You're breaking the law?
This is about political leadership. All the best activists in the past and in the present have put their lives on the line to fight for the rights of workers.
They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table to figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
I like that little music intro because it gives that little, it gives you that, oh, it's not over because you get that doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. It's the little things in life, folks. Good morning. Morning somewhere. Welcome to Extra Bulla Live. It's Thursday night, and thank goodness last night was not Thursday night because we would not have had show. No AC here in the fire trap, aka glorified walk-in closet, which is the Brooklyn Bat Cave. So you got to get creative with the fans, and 96 degrees in a dense city with a lot of tall concrete buildings and whatnot. And not really a good thing. All that concrete and the asphalt just absorbs that heat, and then it just radiates it like charcoal, you know. And we're the steaks. Delicious. Party, Donner Party of 12. Not the It's gonna be that kind of show. Last week at Spectrum Internet decided that this show was going to go tits up, but we managed to persevere somehow, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't do that tonight. If you live in the Northeast or anywhere in the country, it looks like, I hope you're staying cool. Drink lots of liquids. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Become Aquaman, Aquawoman, Aquatrans, whatever you are. Just put Aqua in front of your name. That's a pro tip from your Uncle Warren. So coming up tonight, we are screening a documentary from 2004 that I was fortunate enough to be involved with, called Citizen Shane. It's about this young gentleman in his early 20s, decided to run for sheriff of Lowndes County, Mississippi. And if you're not quite up on where that is, that's the northeast corner of the state, considered by some to be the buckle of the Bible Belt. And the reason it's this young, it wasn't because he was so young that he was running, but he was running on a pro-pornography platform, among other things. So in the documentary, which was directed by Ron Tibbett and edited by Christopher White, a.k.a. Captain Peon, who's going to be joining us after the screening, along with Thurston Carver, a.k.a. Thor, a good friend of Shane's and a good friend of mine. We'll be discussing the film. We'll be talking about Shane and the 17 years since his death. And maybe look at just what's going on in the world in 2021, you know, as far as like, you know, corrupt cops, you know, small towns, you know, that was a long time ago. So it's like, you know, nothing's new under the sun, as they say. So, so this is what we'll it's a very interesting documentary. I just got to get this in here. When Shane was running for sheriff, he had these shirts made up. So, you know, this was for shaneforsheriff.com. I didn't get a chance to check to see if it's still rocking and rolling or not. But who knows? Probably on the Wayback Machine. I'm sure it's there. So, without further ado, and hopefully I don't fuck anything up, this is Citizen Shane. It is about an hour on the nose. And afterwards, like I said, we'll talk to Captain Peon and Thor about this good movie. So, hang on.
Hi, I'm Shane Ballard. I'm a Republican candidate for Lowndes County Sheriff. As a man of the cloth, I'm quite concerned with the destruction of our most sacred religious traditions. But as a fan of hardcore pornography, I'm also concerned with the preservation of our First Amendment rights. If you agree that it's high time the worlds of religion and, well, pornography should come together, elect me August 5th.
The thing about Shane Ballard that I'm not certain whether he's a completely arrogant, pretentious bastard or if he's an absolute genius. But either way, he's always entertaining and he's brilliant. You know, the fact that he's running for sheriff in Lowndes County, Mississippi on a pro-pornography platform is, you know, basically suicide. I mean, this is the Bible Belt. You can drive down Highway 82 leaving Lowndes County going into Alabama and you see many signs that say Jesus is coming, repent now. I mean, this is the Bible Belt. I mean, Lowndes County is the buckle of the Bible Belt. But, you know, I don't think he has a chance of winning, but I respect his right to do so. And I love Shane. I think he's a great guy. He's very interesting, and I really like him a lot. But I think at the end of the day that there's a really disturbed individual there.
I like to record here because the tiles have kind of a nice acoustic effect, and we usually fill the bathtub up with water before I record. I don't know that that really does anything, but I like to think maybe it does. I was born here in Columbus, Mississippi on the 13th of January, 1981. My parents married very early, and though it's never been said, I'm guessing it's because they had to. My mother, I think, was 17 at the time. I think my father was 18 or 19. So they married in 1980, and I was born a year later. And they were divorced soon after. And to this day, I've never actually met my father, though he expressed interest when I was around 16 years old in, reestablishing some kind of relationship. Well, really establishing some kind of relationship. There was no involved. But, I was 16 at the time and didn't really have any interest. And whenever he tried to get in touch with me again, I just wouldn't have anything to do with him. So, I can't blame him. Eventually he stopped trying to get in touch. So that's the story there. My mother was, I believe, well, let's see. I guess I was just a baby when my mother started college. She went to the University of Alabama. And she was there for a while. And during this period, I was living with my great-grandparents. So up until I was about 7, I lived with them. When I was 7, my mother started going to college at the W, which is a local college. And they have apartments there. So I moved in with her there, and for a year I lived with her. And when I was 8 years old, I moved back in with my grandparents due to the fact that my mother died. The circumstances surrounding my mother's death were always kind of mysterious, they were kind of suspicious. The official version goes that she was riding with this guy, and at some point she somehow managed to fall out of the automobile and died. And my grandfather did try to have it investigated, have it looked into, but he was threatened and told not to not to stay out past a certain hour at night. And you know, I was still a little kid at the time. They could have, if anyone wanted to get to me, they could have, and that was their main concern. So they just kind of figured, well, she's dead and nothing's going to change that, but we can maybe prevent something from happening to her son. So that's why it was never really investigated further. But my grandfather was given, he was treated poorly. He was treated pretty badly by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department. And I think, though I didn't think about it at the time, I think that probably was one of the reasons I wanted to run for sheriff.
Is there a problem, officer?
No, there's no problem.
What are you gonna do?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna take you and your girlfriend out of that car, plan to back a crack on your dashboard, and beat you within an inch of your life. All, of course, later to be acquitted in a jury trial. You folks have a good afternoon.
Wow, that law enforcement officer was actually courteous and pleasant to deal with.
Yeah, unlike some people.
You know, I think a lot of people, I guess based on the Shane for Sheriff website, think I'm a joke candidate. They don't think I'm really serious about running. Yeah, but I am. I'm very serious about the campaign. I'm not serious about winning. Winning was never the goal. Just, you know, getting my message across is the goal. And if I get, you know, 7 or 8 votes, then that's okay too. But I would like to maybe get out and meet the public a little bit and just kind of let them know, basically, that I'm a real person. Not this kind of cartoon character they envision me as. Right now we are on the way to meet up with my campaign advisor and good friend, Mr. Warren Dearman.
No, I'm telling you, I've been talking to people, not just here. I've been talking to people in Starkville too. You know, obviously they can't vote over here, but they know people who live over here, and a lot of people are saying go porn. Yeah, you really shouldn't get drunk when you make rash decisions like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, but seeing how I'm here, and I'm your friend, will help you. I know this town like the back of your hand. And let me tell you something, mister. These people are as crooked as a dog dick on the highway right after a fresh lay. They're cynical. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Spitting on people works. So have you found out anybody, who your major constituents are yet? I've talked to some people, but I wanted to get your take.
Well, I haven't been out and talked to anyone yet.
Really?
No. We went out the other day. We went out, I guess a couple of days ago, to some of the churches and tried to talk to them.
Oh, really?
They weren't having it, yeah.
Oh.
Most of them were closed. So. What is it with the goddamn churches? None of them are open. Oh well.
I don't know, man. I got a feel on the street, though. I got a positive feel. I think people are wanting change in this town. They're really saying it. And I think they believe it, too.
Yeah.
You know, you can show them porn, and they'll get happy. But actually believe in it and love it. And I think people are repressed enough around here that they will just explode on the porn tip. I really do.
Good stuff. Very good.
I feel good. You feel good? Mm-hmm. You feel pumped. You ready to rock and roll? You ready to party? Like it's 1989?
Well, what's to do with meeting the public? You said I need to meet the public, and I'm not really into that. But what do you think I need to do here?
I think we just gotta hit the streets. We gotta meet people on the streets and just get right in their face and just say, you know, do you like porn or not? He'll say, well, I don't want to say on camera. Like, no, you got to bring it out of these people. These people just want to be shocked. They want to be brought back to life, to reality. You remember, what was that guy's name? I can't remember. But anyway, he shocked a lot of people. He was good.
Do you vote in Lowndes County for sheriff?
Yes.
This is our guy, Shane Ballard.
Shane Ballard, running for sheriff?
Running for sheriff. He's going to clean up this county, this town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you can't clean up the city, but
no, it's too filthy.
yeah.
The county. Well, maybe, I don't know. But I'll have a job, so if you elect me sheriff, I'll have one.
Yeah, you'll be employing somebody, and that'll make you feel good.
That's a good start. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he can take the money from the county folk and use it for good things.
Like pornography.
Yeah, porn. And not kicking in the wrong door on somebody's house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No more botched drug raids.
No more botched drug raids.
No, we're putting an end to that shit. We're putting an end to that.
Up for Shane!
So, I'm confused on the agenda. To what extent do you think personal liberty ought to be controlled by?
Oh, it shouldn't be all. What you do in your own home, that's your business.
Okay.
That's absolutely your business. But did you want to elaborate on that, or did you have?
I was just wondering what your view was on since you're the one
No, what you do in your own
campaigning and
home,
such.
man. Yeah, you do in your own home. That's your business.
If it doesn't harm you, well, if it doesn't harm anybody else, you know.
If it harms you,
That's your business.
Yeah,
personal freedoms, liberties, stuff like that. We're trying to preserve those.
Well, personal liberties are great, but I'm of the opinion, like a lot of people are around here, that sin hurts everybody.
Sin.
Okay, now help me define my terms. So,
See,
because I know as soon as I said that word, that just put up a whole shield full of preconceptions about me. So,
Well, you said sin. You mean sin in the Christian sense?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think you can't govern a city or a town or a county basing it on religion.
You mean like thou shalt not kill?
Okay, thou shalt not kill.
Not
That's hurting
common
other
sense.
people, but that's hurting other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you look at pornography, that's not hurting anyone but yourself, and
Okay.
that's
What
not
about
really even hurting.
what about personal drug use? Would you advocate
Depends
that?
on what drug you're talking about.
Well, you manufacture it yourself. You hurt nobody but yourself by using it. Would you be against that?
If it's for your own personal use, I don't see the need for a door getting kicked in over that. But it raises suspicions when you're manufacturing. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, that's for his own personal use." That's okay. But it depends on what drug you're talking about. I think. I don't think it makes sense to spend a great deal of the county's money, for example, investigating marijuana.
Have you got much positive results from your campaigning? would you
I've
say?
gotten over 250 emails. Only one's been negative. 2 have been from religious people trying to kind of convert me, but they weren't being negative about it. They weren't positive or negative. They fall into the category of neutral. Okay. And I'm fine with that. I'm pleased, and I'm fine with the negative ones too. I'm always pleased to hear any feedback. Because I feel like at this point I'm the only candidate for sheriff that's coming out there and actually taking a stand on something. Even if no one else agrees with it, I feel like I'm at least making my views known.
Okay. They're expressing ideas. I'm some dialogue.
Right.
Well, you open dialogue here. So.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate it. All right.
Take care.
Well, we got one.
We got one.
Here comes another one. What's up, player?
Not much.
You gonna vote for Shane? You old enough?
Yeah, I'm 18. What's Shane gonna do for this town?
You gonna put that cigarette out and put it up your ass, man. You better quit smoking.
That's not good. That's not good for voting.
We're gonna get the cops out of the porn shops and on top of their fat pig wives where they belong.
Yeah.
You like porn?
Yes, I love porn.
Do you love porn? Okay.
I love porn.
If you love porn, next Tuesday I'm gonna need you to vote for me. Yeah.
Shane Ballard? Yeah, Shane Ballard.
I'll get all my friends fake IDs so they can vote for you.
Great. Well, okay. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, buddy.
I'm Shane Ballard. I'm running for sheriff of Lowndes County. I grew up in this neighborhood. I've basically been here my whole life, I guess. As far back as I can remember, this area has been populated pretty much by retirees, you know, widows, widowers, etc. And consequently, there weren't that many other kids around here to play with when I was a child. So I kind of had to find ways to keep myself entertained. And I guess I've been keeping myself entertained ever since, really.
My world is a sad world. Often wondered if there's blame. Such a fool in a mad, mad world. With no pictures in my frame.
Well, I first wrote to Charles Manson after I got a copy of his 1967 studio recordings. This was around the time I think he was living in Beverly Hills. He had befriended people like Dennis Wilson, the Beach Boys, and I think he knew Neil Young a little bit too. Yeah. But anyway, I got a copy of these recordings. I found a collector that expressed some interest in selling a copy, so I, purchased that and listened to it. It was a pretty incredible set of songs. I'd say it's one of the few times I've been moved emotionally by music. There was a lot of soul in Manson's playing and his singing as well. I wrote to him, and in the letter I expressed interest in releasing them. And I said, if I didn't hear back from him, I wouldn't just go against his wishes and put them out anyway, because that's usually how Manson recordings have been released over the last 20 years. People get tapes and then they just put them out and make a nice little profit for themselves usually. So, I told Manson all that. Write me back. I left my phone number with him. I said, give me a call if you'd like, and we can discuss it further. And I really didn't expect to hear from him because there was really nothing in it for him. California has a law called the Son of Sam law, where criminals, well, and by criminals, of course, I mean people who are convicted of crimes. I don't know if I would necessarily consider Manson a criminal. Certainly not a murderer, but anyway, the Son of Sam law would prevent him from receiving any money for the recordings. So he didn't really stand to gain anything financially, or well, he really stood nothing to gain by me releasing it, except that his music would be heard. So I didn't really expect to hear back from Manson. Then a couple of months later, I got a letter from him where he said basically, whatever you want to do with it is cool. Well, see, this is a man that, he's 68 years old now. And these 68 years, he's been in various prisons or boys' homes, 51 of those years. He gets dismissed as crazy, of course, by everyone, but I think the man's quite sane and has a lot of fascinating things to say. Manson is probably one of the most honest people I've ever known. He's certainly more honest than any politician I've ever met. Earlier this year, February, I think, he called for the first time. And I've been talking to him on the phone every once in a while since then.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right. This is in a D minor on the first fret.
Okay.
It's important that you play the F note first.
Okay.
Then the second chord is a G minor 7.
Yeah.
On the third fret, and a C9 right under that.
Okay.
And then the other chord is a B minor 7, first fret.
Okay. Okay.
And you can put some passing tones in it, like B minor 7 to A minor 7 to G minor 7 back to the top. Now the words are ambiguous to the point where you can change them around to suit what you're doing.
Okay. Okay.
Later on, I might be able to even bring the guitar out here on the phone when I get back on the phone a little bit.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Well, with this, I can at least kind of play around with it. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's the morning sun is coming in my heart again. I am the darkness standing on the moon. Love and life, I'm just a part of them. Soul soldiers never lose because it's all within. The wind wins again and again. The eyes are the windows of my soul. I know. I'll never start again because I'll never end. Golden eye, the world is watching, golden eye, as I sail my ship across the starlit sky. Low riders, I know thee well. I've danced 1,000 demons through the midnight hell. How can I tell? How can I tell? Would I, could I, should I tell? I tell myself I am my own heaven and my own hell. That's what I got so far.
That is fucking beautiful, man.
Well,
Yeah.
it sounds good when you get it going. When
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in the wrong key, but love life, I'm just a part of them.
Yeah.
Old soldiers never lose because it's all within. I started to say here, the weatherman win again.
Uh-huh.
Because you're running for sheriff, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
You know the secret of the weatherman, don't you?
No, I don't.
The premise of their whole reality is that everybody does what they're told,
Mm-hmm.
sooner or later.
Right.
And then you got a stubborn witch that says she won't do what she's told. And you tell her, well, when the wind blows and it gets cold, you're gonna do what the wind tells you.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Go inside and get a fire going.
Right.
You know.
Uh-huh.
The eyes are the windows of my soul. I know. I'll never start again because I'll never end. Golden eye of the world is watching the soul and I, sailing my ships across the starlit sky. Or you could say, sailing ships across the starlit sky. Or you could say, flying ships across the starlit sky.
Yeah. Just getting them there, though, right?
Yeah, and then you go, low riders, old riders. I know thee well. I danced 1,000 demons through the midnight hell. How can I tell? You know, that's an expression.
Right, right.
How can I tell? Would I, could I, should I tell? I tell myself, I am my own heaven and hell. I think I got that from Omar Khayyam. Recognized Omar. And it worked out well at the end, even though it rhymed twice with hell.
Uh-huh.
I had another good song I gave to Kurt.
Yeah.
And I just finished it about iron horses in the sky.
Uh-huh.
Across the Great Divide.
Mm-hmm.
About hobos.
Oh, yeah.
The moonlight and all that.
Right, right.
Once in a while I write something that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I know your thing is kind of mostly improvisation, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't usually write things down, man.
Right, right. Yeah. No, I can imagine that sounds fucking incredible on, like, the nylon string guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I've ever played. I never played any electric thing.
Right, right.
You know?
Yeah.
I had to learn all over to play that.
You probably wouldn't have any place to plug it in, though, would you? No, just got carried around.
Well, I got the Alcatraz music program, but these people would rather lose all their money than give me what I got coming.
Yeah.
You play piano too, huh?
Yeah, I like playing piano best of all, man. I don't know, I just kind of, I can get it all out that way, you know.
That's what I wanted to start with, man.
Yeah, really?
But I couldn't carry it around with me.
Right, right. Well, now they got all these fucking toy keyboards and everything, and just take it under your arm with you almost.
And I wasn't stationary enough to really have time for that.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked up the classical box, man.
Yeah, well, it's done you well, I think.
Yeah. I really got pretty good with that damn thing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That surprised me, man.
Well, listening to your stuff, I mean, you know a hell of a lot of jazz chords. That's what really surprises me. I mean, you go beyond C, G, D, and F, you know?
Oh, I know them all.
Yeah.
I went to a studio in Universal Studios, and I was playing, and a studio musician come up and said, how many chords you know? Boy, I said, all of them. No one could possibly know them all. I said, you go in prison for a couple of 10, 15 years in a cell.
Yeah.
You learn them just for something to do.
Just for something to do, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the game, man. I give you the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I give you the gun.
Right.
I say, if you catch me wrong, you shoot me.
Mm-hmm.
And you best shoot me while you can. Because as soon as I get the gun, you know what time it is.
Right.
You know, you've shown me that there is no law.
Mm-hmm.
You've shown me that there is no rights. You know, always before when I was younger, when the cops would come, I'd always surrender. Not because that I could not take them.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I thought, well, I got rights, so I'll be out in a couple of days because I didn't do anything.
Mm.
So I thought, as long as I'm not doing anything, I don't have anything to worry about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I believed that. I believed in the United States, and I believed in the Constitution, and I used to have Barry Goldwater's picture on my barber chair. Couldn't talk bad about the United States and get in my barber chair, you know.
Right.
But then when I come into this state, I found out that that's not the way it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's doing anything they can get away with, and it's a madhouse, you know. So all the foreign corporations and foreign people are moving in because they see it's all open, it's free lunch. So they're moving in, cutting all the damn trees down. You know what? They're lumbering in the redwoods, man.
Yeah.
And it's all right with me. I've never been a part of it anyway, you know.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever they're doing to themselves. It's really got nothing to do with me personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm a hobo and a bum anyway. I live on the road most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a center, not in that society.
Right, right.
We don't have powerful people in our sheriff's position. And we don't have powerful people in our governing position. You want to put actors in the damn governor's office again?
We should have learned our lesson with Reagan, right?
Well, no, Reagan stole a beautiful dream. Everybody had a wonderful dream, and they had a wonderful party, but that wasn't on the ground with it.
Yeah.
And then when he made his last speech, someone said he talked about everybody in the world with rights, everybody with food. He told everybody everything they wanted to tell him. And someone says, you say rights for everyone? He said, everyone. He said, well, what about Manson?
Uh-huh.
And he said, oh, well, everyone but Manson.
Right, right.
So it's everybody gets to be real prophets, and I'm the false prophet.
Right.
And everybody gets to be Christ, and I'm the Antichrist. You know, I appreciate you, soul.
Well, hey, man, I'm here if I can help you, you know.
Yeah. Well, anything I can do. The sun is coming up to my heart again. I am the darkness standing on the moon. Love and light, I'm just a part of them. Soldiers never lose because some of them. MacArthur said that.
Yeah.
He came back from Korea, he said, old soldiers never die, they just fade away.
Yeah, that's right.
The land of cotton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm backing you for sure, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. It's good to know somebody's out there listening. Yeah.
How's the Mississippi River? Is it dirty?
It's filthy. Yeah, yeah. It's in bad shape. I'm sorry to say.
Well, you got to clean it up.
Yeah.
Don't say I'm just one guy. Look, I'm just one guy.
Yeah.
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 I got the ocean on mine.
Right.
Sing your songs to have one, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. You're a good one, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, you too, man. You take care, all right?
Yeah. You be cool.
All right, you too, man. I love you.
Peace.
The inside light is worse.
The inside one? Back here?
Here.
Oh.
Right in here.
No, Daddy's getting it on the rough side. My name is Peter, he said to the policeman. That's fine, said the policeman. And where do you live? I live on Maple Street, said Peter. I know exactly where that is, said the policeman. And he really did, because policemen know where all the streets are.
So how did we meet?
Well, we went in 8th grade together.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think I had a Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, and the suicide note shirt.
Yeah, okay, you remember it, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a shirt with Kurt Cobain's suicide on it, and you must have come up to me or something.
Yeah, I think I did. I come up and I said that shirt was cool. That's right, I remember that. Yeah, you asked me to play bass in a bunker show that one time.
Yeah?
And I said, I don't know how to play bass.
Yeah.
We ended up having Matt play that.
But you not being able to play bass served us well later.
Yeah, it did.
Features.
Yeah, that's actually what made me want to start playing guitar and stuff.
Oh, what, when I asked you to be in the bunker?
It wasn't shortly after that I got my first guitar.
Yep. I mean, I really like Pop Happy.
Yeah, I do too.
But
I'd say as far as sound quality and everything, though, this will be coming a lot better. We put a lot more time into this one.
Shane, tell me about your fascination with Adolf Hitler. You know, I don't know where my childhood fascination with Hitler started. I remember seeing some kind of documentary, I guess a World War II documentary on television when I was 6 years old. I was just fascinated by the guy, but I don't know what about him, caught my interest at such a young age. But I would, from probably between the ages of 6 and 8, I'd say every drawing I created had Hitler in it, or some kind of, if not Hitler, then a swastika. So consequently, I have drawings that are like you've seen some of these, right? Yeah. Like the Three Stooges. It was like I was mixing things, other things I was interested in as a child with Hitler, like Three Stooges and Nazi uniforms. Yeah. I drew Herman Munster with Hitler a lot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was a big Munsters fan and a big Hitler fan at the same time. I had one with Hitler and Alf.
Hitler and Alf.
You remember? The thing that ate cats?
Yeah.
You remember Alf?
Yeah, he's on the 1-800 Collect commercial.
Yes. He's doing better than any of the human actors on that show.
All right, Shane. What you think of that?
See a mirror for me?
Let me show that over there.
Yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I reckon that looks good. Yeah, it looks great, man.
All right.
Nice work as always.
Cool.
I'm not really sure how to explain my fascination with serial killers. It started when I was about 4 years old, and Richard Ramirez was on his killing spree. He was the Night Stalker. And I just remember watching the news every day, waiting to see the police sketch of him, because I guess I found it really interesting or creepy. I'm not really sure what I thought of at the time because I was so small, but I remember that very well. And later on, I guess at some point, I decided I was going to start writing them to see if any of them would, respond to my questions. I was about 13 years old at the time. The first serial killer I wrote to was John Wayne Gacy. I think I wrote him a note asking about maybe buying one of his Pogo the Clown paintings that he was very infamous for. And this is the first letter I got from Gacy, March 29th, 1994, which was just a little over a month before he was executed by the state. Anyway, he sent this note that says, Shane, the enclosed flyer may have some of my art, J.W. And he wrote that on the back of a photocopy of this news article, State Suing Gacy for Cash from Art. And because he made like $140,000 off his paintings. And when that got out, the state was none too pleased. So once I got a response from Gacy, I kind of thought, well, maybe I can write to some of these other guys and see who else I get a response from. So naturally, Richard Ramirez was my next choice because that's where my, fascination with serial murder began. So I wrote to him and I told him, that about my story about being a 4-year-old watching him on the news reports. So this is the first letter I got on golf stationery, whatever the fuck that is. Anyway, it says, Shane, greetings. What you up to? I got your letter. Where did you live in '85? Hope I didn't scare you. Ha. And then he goes on to ask me about the band I was in at the time and what instruments I played and whatnot. David Berkowitz, the son of Sam. He is another religious nut. This is one of the pamphlets he sent. And he signed it, David Berkowitz with Hope in Christ, 10/11/97. And his name on here appears as Brother David Berkowitz. Supposedly, he was a member of a satanic cult when he committed the murders. So, you know, if that's true, I don't think he's rehabilitated at all. I think he's just going in the other direction. Here's one from Byron de la Beckwith, who, of course, killed Medgar Evers, the civil rights leader. This was basically a 2-page long letter asking me to send his wife stamps. I sent her some stamps. If he wants it that bad, and not bad enough to write two pages about it. 3, really. Ian Brady is known as the Moors murderer. He is probably the most intelligent serial murderer I've ever ridden to. I've heard it said that he was the inspiration for the Hannibal Lecter character. And I guess I could see that. This is a Christmas card he sent me in 1999. Nothing special, he just signed it. That was the only Christmas card I got that year, so very nice.
You know, I've been feeling really depressed lately.
Oh, honey, what's up?
Well, all the police abuse, wrongful arrests, and I just don't see why the clergymen and the adult businesses can't get along.
Baby, you don't have to tell me. But what are you gonna do?
Well, I suppose I'll kill myself.
Well, I'll miss you. It's a shame things had to turn out this way.
Who are you? I'm Shane Ballard. I'm running for sheriff of Lowndes County. I plan to right all the wrongs that led to your tragic suicide attempt. Unlike some people.
My hero.
Oh, I'm Shane Ballard, by the way. I'm running for sheriff of Lowndes County.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.
Oh, sure.
Hi.
What's going on?
How are you doing? I'm just coming here to introduce myself. My name's Shane Ballard. I'm a candidate for Lowndes County Sheriff.
Oh, you are?
Yes, ma'am. Just coming around here to introduce myself and ask for your vote on August 5th.
Okay.
All right.
You're doing that campaigning, huh?
A little bit. A little late maybe, but trying,
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate you coming back.
All right, thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How you doing? Fucking you good. How you doing? I'm Shane. Good to see you, man. All right, Grover, will you please? Nice to meet you, man. All right, so August 5th, go to ShaneForSheriff.com if you want to read about what I'm about. Okay. Like that. Okay. All right, y'all have a good day. Okay, right now we are driving down the road where my mother was killed. I'm trying to find a Tabernacle Church because the guy she was with that morning said that he took her down to like the church grounds or something. So
So this is approximately where my mother's body was found, the side of the road here on this particular strip of Highway 50. According to the guy she was with that morning, they were driving down this road and somehow she managed to fall out of his vehicle. You know, that story of course sounded kind of suspicious to us, you know, especially when you consider that this guy had basically stalked her on and off for something like 12 years. So my grandfather hired private investigators to look into it, and he found out that the guy she was with was a drug informant working for Lowndes County. So he, you know, if he needed to get away with something, he certainly had the connections. That and the fact that the guy she was with said that he had her down at the Tabernacle Church grounds or campgrounds or something like that, whatever it was. We think he probably made sexual advances towards her and she said no. In fact, he said as much. But we believe that she was murdered down at the campgrounds and dumped here. Another thing that was kind of suspicious is that there was a large red stain on the seat of his truck that was written off in the police report as a paint stain. But one of the officers later contacted my grandfather and said, you know, don't let anyone ever tell you that was red paint. You know, that was blood. That and there was skin and blood under her fingernails. You know, there were signs of a struggle. There'd been some type of struggle. You know, all these, when you put all these factors together, you can't help but think there was a cover-up of some kind, especially considering who this guy was. And I guess that was kind of in the back of my mind when I decided to run for sheriff. You know, just the way the county handled this case and the way they treated my grandfather when he was trying to get answers out of them. You know, they just wouldn't tell him anything. They were very dismissive of it. But anyway, that's basically what happened the morning of August 5th, 1989. You know, it's when I say the day out loud, it reminds me that the date of the primary election this year actually is August 5th. It will be the 14th anniversary of my mother's death.
Judicial district.
Happy boy.
Trump! With only Benjamin Creekmore with 51%.
Not
PR travel 39%. Again, this is position being given up again so that he can run attorney general. Back to you.
All right, thank you guys. We have some new numbers now from Lowndes
You know she was
County.
fucking Robert
Have gotten those numbers in. In the Democratic primary, the incumbent Butch Howard is leading with 63% of the vote, followed by Ron Cook with 30% and Robert Butler with 28%. And in the Republican primary for sheriff, Grady James is leading with 76% of the vote, followed by Sherman Ballard.
28 though. Look at that dude.
All the numbers.
All right.
County, that's only 13% of the vote.
Sherman Bond's gun. Billy Barty, peace day. How you doing here? All right, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm all right. Are you dancing tonight?
I am. I'm on my way to work right now. I moved into the neighborhood.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I was going to swing by and see how you're doing in the election.
Well, they just came up. It's like
11%. You got 28 votes. 28
Really?
votes. Yeah. It's a fucking landslide, man. We're on our way.
That's more than you thought you'd get.
Yeah, way more.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm in a hurry right now, so I have to run, but I'll make a deal with you. Listen, if you get over 200 votes, I'll give you a free lap dance.
Let's see if we've got any.
Well, that's the deal. That's the deal. But, you know,
I don't
ain't
think
gonna
we
happen,
do
but
yet.
thanks.
Hey, you never know.
I'm sorry, we do
Yeah.
those.
That's cool.
very
But yeah, come back
bad
later.
I sure will. I'll swing back.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Bad.
This is coming up.
Represent over Lloyd B. Robertson. Let's go on now to
200 votes.
District 20.
That's not bad, right?
That's
Pretty like that. That's not
Hey, it's early too, man. It's real early. You only got 29.
That was 13%, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a fucking good number for somebody who's running based on porn.
On porn.
All right, it's good. Lowndes County, man. Hey, it's Lowndes County.
Wait, get out of the way. Wait a second.
Ron Cook has 37%, and Robert Butler has 7%. In the Republican primary for the
I'm still losing like a bastard, but I got 143.
Away from you're 57. Heinz 57. You're 57 Chevy. 8 squirrels in the tree.
Raised over all previous raised with the sole purpose of distributing ecstasy to minors.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm convinced I need
They
to
should
hear
need
more,
to
so I am
distribute
going
ecstasy
to
to
dismiss.
East Columbus
And,
right now. All right, hey, Lowndes County.
Lowndes County,
Lowndes County Sheriff, man. Lowndes County. Here we go. Vince is losing. Hey! Well, yeah, 237. Lap dancing. It goes up like that. You go. And you get it. Here it comes. I guess he showed the coffee shop last night. JMV! JMV, that fucking Chad Michael Vincent. He was looking for you.
Was he to manage us again?
He wanted some XXXOOO, meaning them hugs and
He
or
wanted
kisses.
that 3X from that Terms of Endearment video box.
Welcome
Okay,
back
we go.
to Decision 2003 here on WTVA, a special edition of WTVA News Live at 10. We do have some new numbers in now from Lowndes County, starting with the sheriff's race.
Sheriffs.
We have 100%
All right, dude,
of precincts
100%.
reporting in
There's
the
Butch.
Democratic primary. It does appear that
What's
Butch
the
Howard, the
final
incumbent, is the unofficial winner with 56% of the vote, followed by Ron Cook with 37% and Robert Butler with 6% of the vote. In the Republican primary for
Half the beast! All the fun!
Half the satanic vote. Oh my God.
333. Easy as JMV. Fuck Sherman Vaughn.
Damn, that's not bad, right?
333
That's what I'm
fucking
talking
votes.
about, my boy. Oh man.
Congratulations.
That's not bad, right?
333. That's 333 perfect in Lowndes County, man. We're back. Don't shirt now.
I can't take.
Well, good morning, Shane. How do you feel?
Oh, I've been better. I have a pretty bad hangover this morning, but I'm trying to drink some Pedialyte to see if that'll help. I hope it does, because I can't handle this.
So, what did you think about the election?
Oh yeah, I was really pleased with it. I guess I was, first pleased that I made it out alive, without getting a bullet in my head. People have been coming out as strong as I did, that probably wasn't a good idea looking back on it. Especially when you consider that
people in Lowndes County have been killed for much less. As far as the actual results of the election, though, the numbers, I was totally floored. You know, I thought if I got lucky, very lucky, I could maybe get 24 votes at most. And, you know, I think final count was 333. You know, that was just the icing on the cake. Maybe it will send some kind of message to Lowndes County that their practices are going to have to change. We'll see, though. We'll see.
Do you think you're going to ever run again for office? What's in store for Shane politically?
Well, right now I'm just so tired of the whole process. I really don't even want to think about it. But I don't know if I can make that decision just yet. I know the mayoral election comes up next year. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just have to see, you know, a lot of it's going to depend on how bored I am at the time. If I don't have anything else to do, you know, sure, why not? But, you know, I'm 22 now, so another 13 years, I guess I could run for president. What do you think?
Invisible tears in my eyes, incredible pain in my heart, indestructible memories, all in review. Impossible though things may get, improbable I will forget. Indelible memories of sweet lovable you. You're back again, and I'll take you in. Although I'm only seeing pictures of the past, those arms are not real. But somehow I feel if I just close my eyes, then maybe this might last. Invisible tears in my eyes, incredible pain in my heart, indestructible memories, all in review. Impossible though things may get, improbable I will forget. Indelible memories, incomparable memories, indispensable memories of sweet lovable you. And all the cowboys went, what did you do to my son?
Woo! All right.
Oh
well,
my God!
We are back.
Oh.
That's you talking, isn't it, Mr. Alec? We had
brother. Woo!
All right, hold it there. Hold it there. Dollar Tree, Liam Neeson. I got what the fuck that means? Anyway,
Hey, the jerky's keto.
We'll get to you in just a second. So, yeah, that was Citizen Shane, and kind of doing this a little different tonight. So bear with me, folks. Here, hopefully everything's cool. So yeah, so that was the story of Shane Ballard, and a year after they finished with production, Shane took his life. And earlier that year, Ron Tibbett, the director of the film, he was killed in a car accident. It was very very tragic. I got some guys here waiting in the wings. First up, let me bring on Captain Peon. Are you there, sir?
I am here, man.
I do not see
Bring me
you.
on.
There you are. Bringing you on right now. Hey! So, Chris, you edited the film, so I'm sure that you worked pretty closely with Ron on the film. I mean, what was do you know what was kind of going through his mind? As and obviously he was kind of telling you what he wanted to edit, but you know, what do you think, you know, his vision of this was, you know?
That's a really good question, man. I don't know. I mean, like you said, I mean, he would come in and tell me, you know, what he wanted. And there's definitely a scene later we need to discuss with everybody. I'm eager to discuss it because as an editor, I hated it. And I need to ask people about what they thought of the scene. So I don't necessarily know, except that I believe Ron felt Shane was he was intrigued with Shane. I would imagine Alec can totally, you know, dispute this, but I don't think he would. I think he was intrigued with Shane. I think Shane was an intriguing guy, and really nice, personable, and of course Ron just loved that. So I really believe that he loved Shane, and he thought, oh wow, him running for sheriff, that's going to be a great documentary, and it was.
It really was. It was a hell of a story, and you know, kind of. We have to be fair. That's part of the parts of the documentary were kind of embellished. You know, the lap dancing part. You know, you know. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Sorry. So that's a little Ron Tibbett sweetening it up a little bit, but I mean, it did detract from the actual story of Shane himself and what he went through and what, you know, his mom's murder and all that. You know, that was the meat of it that I think that you know, but he right. Sometimes where did you go? There you are. There you are. Sorry, we're doing it live. But yeah, so I mean, when I you know, I have my little parts to play in it, and that, yeah, we were actually at that pizza place talking about how we were gonna you know, we need to go out and like meet some people on the street. And the kid, the second person we met, that was somebody that we knew, so that was just a little fun gag. But the dude before that, Mr. Goatee guy, that was like was just like really amazing, you know. He was random. He just like he was literally was going to the post office there, and we grabbed him. It was like. And it was just them. You could, you know, it's like, you know, when you're taking video of like a big giant open field, you know, and it's pretty anyway, and all of a sudden these birds just kind of like take off in the background. I think what's his name was talking about that in Braveheart when he did that. When he saw that, he said the happy accidents, you know. So this guy was like a happy accident. We could have had somebody that was just like, huh? Why you on pornography here? It's all evil and shit. What?
So two things, like, yeah, you and Shane at the pizza place. One of my favorite happy moments, and I think Ron let me keep it in there, was that zoom out that he does from the table. Timed perfectly with the arcade sound in the back. It's perfect. And I think that that scene with you, Shane, and the goatee guy. I want to say that was the first scene that I edited with Ron. And beforehand, I was just like, all right, let's see what Ron's got. Let's see what you got, man. We'll try to edit this. And honestly, yeah, that dude. Let's define our terms, and let's do all that. I mean, like, yeah, the great find, lucky find on camera.
Yeah, I just wish more people in that area were like that dude. He seemed very, I don't know, maybe if he saw the camera and he thought maybe I should be on my P's, my P's and Q's and not sound like a crazy redneck. But I didn't get that vibe from him. He just sounded just like, the friends that we knew, in Columbus and West Point and places like that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that was great.
Let me see now, through the magic of television, aka the internet, we're going to try and bring Thor in here. Thor, are you with us, sir?
You bet.
All right, there you are. Okay, yes. All right, so this did some wackadoodle shit, so let me get off that for a second. And it's like I say, I'm the captain of this Enterprise, the Starship Extra Bulla, and it's also I gotta be Sulu, I gotta be Uhura, I gotta be Scotty, I gotta do all that shit. An adventure every week. Hang on a second, Thor, we're about to get you in here. Thurston Carver's a good friend of Shane Ballard's, and he's known him, I think, a lot longer than any of us have, and I met Thor through Shane, and it was. The way I met Shane was kind of odd in how it worked out, but it was great because I met Shane and then I met all of Shane's friends, and all Shane's are pretty cool. So let me bring in a good friend of mine here, Thurston Carver III. Yes, Lovey, aka Thor. I know, I'm sorry, that was a horrible joke. All right, sorry about that. Thor, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah? You chilling there with that artwork behind you? I like that. That's very nice. Who did that?
This one right behind me is my mom, and that one was stolen from a place I worked.
Well, that's unfortunate. Never mind. I was gonna ask you if you stole it. But I don't want to incriminate you on. I'm not going to incriminate you on the internets. All right, we're not going down that road. So, like I said, you've known Shane probably longer than any of us. I only knew Shane the last 4 years of his life, and Alec, who's coming up here in a second, he is just a baby. He's just a wee one, or at least I always thought so. But like a baby brain genius, that may or may not be able to time travel. Anyway, that rambling being said, tell us. I mean, what was Shane like when he was young? How long have you known Shane?
I met Shane probably around the time he turned 18. I had found the first Bunkers EP at a local record store, and somebody recognized him. And this guy was just like, "Oh yeah, he lives down the street from me." I was like, "Well, I got to meet this dude because I want to make some music with him." I was, really into experimental stuff. But yeah, I would guess I met him when he was about 18 and just hung out with him from then on.
Nice. Yeah, I met Shane through a girl I was dating at the time. We all know who that is, but everything's fine. You know, she's actually got two kids now. So you know, and she doesn't look like she's aged a day. We're friends on Facebook. You know, yeah, she's yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? You hold grudges and stuff like that. It was fun when it was fun to hold grudges when Shane was around, because he was just like, you know, yeah, I'm down with that too. You know what I mean? Because you know, you know, I mean, you know how Shane was. He was if he liked you, you know, you were like in. But if he didn't like you, you know, there was something seriously fucking wrong with you. You know, that, you know what I mean? And that coming from somebody like Shane to be like, you know, if Shane don't like you, you know, but I met him through the ex-girlfriend, and, you know, I was just like, the first time I saw him, I was just like, this guy's a character. And I always love characters. I always love like interesting looking people. You know what I mean? But, I mean, did you guys have bands like in high school or anything? Or, you know, when did the music start?
The music probably started immediately as soon as we started hanging out, man. We were both into weird experimental stuff, and he was really open-minded musically, you know? So yeah, immediately we do that, and then we'd start recording as soon as possible. He had already had Facetious with Aaron, and then the Bunkers with, I think, a series of people, but it was all just him. I'm pretty sure it was all just him on the recording. And then, you know, he had a couple of records just of his own. But yeah, man, like the music started immediately. But at the end of the day, like for all the music, this guy just became my best friend. Like this was the person I wanted to hang out with and spend all of my time with. Because he was just an interesting person with an interesting perspective who just sort of didn't give a shit what people thought about him. In general, though, if he liked you, he definitely cared, you know. And that was one thing, like you said about him. I wouldn't say so much he held a grudge, you know. He was really fearful. This was a guy who disliked traffic so much he'd take 3 rights to avoid taking a left across it, you know. So it just got to the point that I think that either he sensed that he enjoyed your company, or he sensed that, I mean, he always knew he wasn't the best to help. So that he didn't want to waste his time with somebody whose company he didn't enjoy. You know, and if he enjoyed your company, he was up for basically anything.
This is, hang on a second here. I got to look at this science. This is, he's got music on Bandcamp still. So for those who are interested.
Yeah, I think Danielle, actually, I think, is the one who put all that up.
Oh, did she? Oh, yeah. So Danielle
I'm
is
not sure.
Danielle is another friend of ours who knew Shane, and we all hung out in the days. Briefly for me, I came in around 2000. I was kind of an off and on resident of Columbus, but I always loved the Princess Theater, and I always loved hanging out with you guys and getting drunk and all these random references and stuff like that.
Well, you know, the crazy thing about him was that, like, as soon as he got a hold of the internet, and even before through the mail, he was active through the tape trading scene. He knew all these people that had rarities. At one point, when I mean, we're old enough that when eBay was still relatively new and they'd let you sell basically anything, he was making his rent or not his rent, but his money and his bill money and everything off of selling this rarity of like this VHS tape of Kubrick rarities, like 2 hours of them, and he was selling them for like $250 or something. You know, he was so keyed into this underground of people like that, which is, you know, how he got the Manson tapes. Like some of the stuff he would show you when you showed up over there. You know, people in today obviously take the format we're on right now a little for granted, but if you're raised in it, that makes sense. But back then, it was mind-blowing for him to have, like, the Bob Crane body removal tape, you know, or all of the insane Hollywood bits of ephemera. You go through his house, and I wish that it was documented. His, like, that dress at the end of the hallway is the dress from Mama's Family. He didn't just have serial killers.
I hate that fucking thing.
The shoes, man. Those were Liberace shoes, the ones that they actually showed up. My favorite crazy story, that real human skull that he bought off eBay back when you could do that. I come over one day, and he's straight up eating macaroni and cheese out of the skull cap. Like you just never knew what was going to happen when you showed up at his house. His hot sauce obsession, man. Like just, it's like he was pepper spraying his own mouth. He would just smear Dave's insanity sauce over everything. And like I said, it was just insane. You'd show up, this guy would be watching like outtakes from 2001, eating chicken that you can't get within 3 feet of, while just going on about it, talking to somebody on the internet who is fucking selling some random bit of rarities from like Welcome Back, Kotter. Like, it was, for its era, it was definitely very bizarre.
Well, I mean, what year was the first album? I mean, hang on a second here.
Oh man, that's been a while back, and I'm old and have done
was
many
that
talks against me now.
Was that like mid '90s, late '90s?
Late '90s. Pretty much all of his musical output, I think, starts around '96, maybe '95. I could be wrong, but you know.
No, I hear you. Hang on a second. I'm trying to pull up the Manson thing here. Give me just a second. Alec, we're going to get to you in a second, but I promise you that. You still with us there? I know you've been sipping a little bit on your the crickets.
All I'm saying is that Alec,
I wanted to be like Warren.
Bring up the occult connection to all this.
And that's all I got.
Now here we go. Now just to be the fuck happened here? Well, this is interesting. Where's my mouse? I don't think my mouse works. My mouse doesn't work. I don't know what's going on here. Hang on a second, guys. We're gonna take a quick break. Maybe. If I can figure this out. Hang on just a second. This is very embarrassing. Yeah, this is wild. I don't know what's going on. All right, Monkey. I'm gonna need you to kill time for me here just for a second, okay? This is the weirdest thing. My mouse, the button disappeared. It's the craziest shit.
All right. How about this? Yeah. Oh, you know what I hate?
Oh, here we go. Now
you know what I hate? I hate stairs. You know why? because they're always up to something. So good. It's so good.
All right, Alec. Show yourself.
Yeah,
I
bring on
hear you.
Alec.
All right.
Bring on Alec.
Have I materialized?
I can hear you. Hey, there you
Maybe
are.
I should go.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get this in. Alec Hawkins, ladies and gentlemen, Monarch, good friend of both Shane Ballard and Ron Tibbet. I knew a little bit about Tibbet from through you guys and through Chris, and he was usually up to some sort of antics around there, and it always seemed like he always had you in tow, like he was Gandalf and you were like, you know, one of the fucking hobbits. I can't remember the fucking name right now. I'm a little stoned. Anyway, you're here. Say some shit.
Okay, yeah. So, I made a short film in which Shane was a part of. So when it came time to, you know, what do we do now? And it wins an award at the Magnolia Film Festival, which Ron Tibbet was the founder of. So Shane had seen 5 Easy Pieces and wanted to get a piano, and in that movie Jack Nicholson's in the back of a truck playing piano. I haven't seen it, so that could be wrong. But anyway, he'd seen this movie, so we're kind of, and there's other people kind of around, just, you know, hanging out. We go to Palmer Home thrift store to buy a piano, put that sucker in the back of his truck, and we end up at Alex Parton, the Mohawk guy from Citizen Shane, and out at his folks' place so we can shoot the piano. So that's what you're seeing at the beginning of the film, is kind of this surrealistic, I don't know, like one of the first things when I went to Shane's house was I saw he had, like, you know, the VHS tapes that Thor's talking about, but he had like Kenneth Anger and Louis Buñuel and all this really awesome avant-garde stuff. So we were trying to do something like that. We had no script, but Shane is a fascinating visual, and so anyway, he's shooting these pigs off of a piano. So somewhere in all this just chaos, Ron Tibbet is like, Shane would make a really good subject for a documentary. That's what you should be doing. You know, hello, McFly! It was very bad. And at some point, I think Ron just thought, wait a minute. No, that's a terrible idea. Alex shouldn't do that. So Citizen Shane became this project that Ron was doing. I think he'd probably been really craving a way to express himself after, you know, he had his stuff that he did. He wasn't like he wasn't creating and doing things, but he was also helping people with the film festival. It was a really great thing. I mean, folks would come from all over the country and the world, because over the years the reputation just grew that the mag really treated filmmakers well, if you know, if they would come and everything. So Ron's a great guy, and it's weird too, because I think that Chris White guy is turning into Ron. So
wait a minute.
So that's kind of.
Wait a minute, Chris, you want to chime in on that? That was a throwdown. He said you were morphing into Ron Tibbet.
Dude, if that means I'm gonna marry a doctor and make films, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. I can do that.
Yeah. Right.
And to be fair,
watch out for those red Corvettes. That's all I'm saying, Chris. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, so, Ron was a handsome fella. Ron, you know, I kind of got. I mean, this the goat. I like since I've gone all gray in my beard now. I've kind of doing the homage to Ron, inadvertently. I just don't have the cool hair that he had. You know, but other than that, I think I'm good. But
you
I
look great,
like it.
Warren.
Oh, thanks. But I didn't get to hang out with Ron like you guys did. I knew he was kind of eclectic, you know, that he liked thinking outside the box. What was some of the, what was the, well, he did kind of the mainstream thing with Swept Off My Feet, right? That was kind of a romance type thing. And then talk about the movie that you directed, and did Tibbet have any influence on that? The one you were talking about earlier?
Yeah. So real quick. Yeah. So it's like maybe 11 or 12 when the Magnolia came to town. And I'm sorry for the folks at home if I'm feedbacking. I guess Shane's here with us. And I've got a little water in the bathtub, so feedback. So yeah, I like Ron was like a mentor. So and it's kind of you to say that he like had me in tow, because it was more like I was up his butt. Ron was like the reluctant mentor, but he was a really good guy. You know, he was a good guy. I think he was mentoring me more because he, you know, was a good person, not so much that he was like, yeah, this is great. I'm an older man, and here's a child that wants to be around me all the time. So basically, Cookie Jar, the film we made, that was the first time I brought Ron a script, and he didn't just like throw it against the wall and, you know, not like he was mean. He's the kind of guy I would run home and like, okay, either like work on that script, implement his ideas, or completely start over. So Cookie Jar was the first script that I brought to Ron, and he was like, yeah, kid, yeah, you know, make this movie. So yeah, Ron was, yeah, I mean, he was a good guy. I'm very grateful as a kid. Yeah, I'm like feedbacking the folks at home real hard.
No, you sound good on this end.
Okay, well, so that was, yeah, Ron was always kind of there. And what's crazy is, yeah, I go to hang out with Thor out of state, and that's when I get the call that Ron dies, and that's in July of 2004. And then Shane, right? Or was it June? It all happened really fast. Shane dies in August.
Yeah, they were only within a few months of each other. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I missed it when you had that nice memorial at the end. I didn't think to look when Ron died, but in my memory it was July. But there's no way it was that close to Shane, because over the phone Shane was really kind and, you know, let me know, you know, some stuff, because I felt bad. You know, Ron and I didn't even tell Ron I was leaving town. So never, you know, don't do that, kids. You know, you never know when people are going to die. So, but Shane was really sweet. I remember him over the phone giving me some guidance. And real quick, while I'm rambling here, after Shane offed himself, I thought to write Charles Manson a letter so he wouldn't be confused if he didn't know, because, you know, Shane was sending Charles Manson like cigarettes and, you know, really helping him out. So I wrote Charles Manson to be like, hey, I'm just letting you know that Shane is not with us anymore. And in the letter, Charles Manson says, "Don't ever say that again. Shane was just here, you know, Intergalactic Hobo." He didn't say that last part, but I thought that is so cool. You know, here's Charles Manson, the boogeyman, and he's telling me in a letter like, you know, hey man, like, nah, Shane ain't dead. You know, the soul is immortal. So that's kind of my cool Charles Manson story. Oddly enough, I ended up throwing that letter away after my son was born, along with I think like everything I'd ever filmed. Like I threw away like all my mini DV tapes, and like 3 hours after doing that, I read an article that says, hey, Charles Manson letters are going for thousands of dollars on eBay. And this was before Charles Manson died. So I always thought that was interesting, that I could have profited off of death. But I did because I threw away the letter. Anyway, yes, I believe Thor wanted to say something.
Yeah,
Thor,
if I could get the chance. One other odd thing. Speaking of writing Charles Manson letters, I never wrote him, but my friend Nate Garrett, who I was in a band with, had seen Citizen Shane. I'd showed it to him, and he wrote Charles Manson and got a reply back, saying that he wasn't going to get another reply, and that he knew Shane Ballard, and I believe he said Shane was still with us. I could be misremembering that. That's been well over a decade ago since I spoke to him. But as I recall, that's basically how it went. It was pretty weird. I've heard rumors related to that. I heard that while he had put it out and nominally didn't have to pay anything, that a couple guys from the Manson family showed up at his house and said, you need to deposit 2 separate payments of $500 into this commissary account. So I've personally often wondered if there's more there. I can't really prove anything other than what Shane said to me, and man, that's not really what this is about. But in terms of contact after the fact, it's interesting to me, I guess, that was continuing to go on in many ways.
Yeah. And, go ahead. I'm sorry.
My friend Nate is in this band called Spirit Adrift. It's actually pretty popular. I don't know if anyone's heard that story before, but I used to play music with him way back when. And yeah, it was pretty wild to see that letter. So.
Yeah, speaking of music, Alec, at the beginning of the show, I do this every I do this every live stream. I have 2 songs by the Hamburger Hobos that I use in the countdown. There's that instrumental. There's that very I can't remember the name of it. It's very peaceful and just wonderful. And then there's the what's that?
If it's off the first album, maybe it's Night, but I thought B-15 immediately. That's kind of like a dueling guitar song.
B-15 sounds right. I think it's B-15. Okay. It's very doom 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 doom. So that, and then it goes into what is it? Hard Candy.
Hard on candy.
Hard on candy. Yes. Oh my God! And I got to tell you, brother. My girl loves that song. And I told her, like, the first time I started doing this thing, I was showing her the open, and I said, yeah, I used a couple songs by the Hamburger Hobos. By the way, if this shithole ever starts making any cash, I'll be sure to throw you a few bones for, keep everything honest. But but I said, I used Hamburger Hobos. She goes, "Oh, did you use that Hard on Candy song?" I said, "Fuck yeah, I used that Hard on Candy song. I love that shit, man." Baby. Yeah, it's you know what, you missed the very beginning, right? Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I was gonna say we could see this here, but I think it takes like about 5 minutes of just nothing. So, but anyway, this show's gonna be up as soon as we're done. It'll be recorded, so you can go back and watch the beginning and see what you missed. That's what it's all about, man. We're taking care of you over here. Speaking of taking care of you, is everybody amenable to a quick break? If you need to have a little potty break or something, maybe about a 1-minute break. That sound good for you guys?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds nice. Sounds nice. Yes.
All right. You all sound like animals, and I thank you for that. I've gone blind. I don't know what's going on.
Do y'all hear me better if I take this out, or am I still feedbacking? I'll check the comments when I come back from touching.
All right. I know, right? That's all YouTube don't sue me and demonetize me music. That's why I hope you guys don't sue me for using hamburger hobos. So, but we'll see about that. Litigation is ripe. Let me look at the chat real quick here. I want to give shout outs to everybody that's here. Tron Monkey, I know who that is. Tron Monkey official music. Exploding Varmints, Steve Cisco, and Clower's Basement Tapes.
Oh, that's me.
That's you?
Yeah, that's me. That's my woman. That's my friend's account.
Why you gotta out yourself like that, man? And I believe that's it. 7 viewers. This is a record. This is a record, y'all. Every week, little by little, just like that Robert Plant song. You know what I mean? Little by little, bam, bam, I can breathe again. I can't remember which album that was on. It was the one with Big Log, I think. Anyway, I digress. Hello, welcome back. We were talking about Citizen Shane. I want to, we've been talking about Shane. I want to talk a little bit more about Ron Tibbet with Captain Peon here. Captain, you knew Tibbet for a long time. Where'd you meet Tibbet, and how did your relationship, come together?
Good question. I can't remember how I met Tibbet. How did I meet him? Man, that's what you get when you cross an elephant with a rhino.
Oh boy, yeah. It's a very quiet show tonight.
Actually, I do remember how I met Ron because he did a jazz show on the radio in West Point, and I was a DJ. So every Saturday morning, I would wake up about 4:30 or whatever, get to the station at 5, start it up, and he would stroll in around 10 and do a jazz show for like 2 hours or something. So yeah, so I met him that way, and we talked about film because I was into Hollywood, not so much independent, but because of that friendship, I started watching more and more independent films, and yeah, So that's how our relationship blossomed.
Yeah, he I at first, you and I have known each other about 30 years, I believe. I think we met at the Methodist Church, and I'll never forget it. You were wearing some goofy tie, and you look like some, like, I don't know what kind of bit you were doing. You were doing some sort of like weird shit with the tie, and I said, yeah. And the same thing I did with Shane. I saw him. He was like very pleasant. You know how he is. He's very, oh, hello, how are you? He's just very pleasant. But you took a look at him, you're like, no, there's something else here. There's more than meets the eye. He was a character, and Tibbet was a character too. What?
That's the thing with Tibbet, man. Like, I guess he was like I don't know, a politically correct version of Larry David. Does that make sense? Because like he would say things that that were not appropriate at the time,
and then.
Yeah.
He was like Larry David of North Mississippi.
But yeah, he would just say something that would be like, why did you just say that out loud? Just a trip. I remember we went to this wasn't like bad or anything, but like we went to Jackson because I don't know who Turner Classic Movies or somebody was like they were showing Orson Welles' great restored vision, Janet Leigh, Charlton Heston.
Touch of Evil?
Touch of Evil, yes. They had restored Touch of Evil. Thank you, Alec. And
Alec is probably more stoned than the rest of us, yet he knows all this shit. I barely knew my name until I saw it typed up on the screen. Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, they were shopping this film across the United States, and it came to Jackson, Mississippi, and somehow Ron got us tickets. So Ron and I drove to Jackson to go watch the restored Touch of Evil, and it was hosted at a pre-party or whatever with Janet Leigh. So we got to meet Janet Leigh, and we knew that before we left. So I'm in my Southern Sunday clothes. It's like nice pants and a button-up shirt. I wanted to look nice to meet Janet Leigh. And we got there, and everybody's looking nice to meet Janet Leigh. And Janet Leigh's looking beautiful, frail but beautiful. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, wow, man, this is Janet Leigh. This is Psycho. This is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. This is crazy. I'm meeting Janet Leigh. And then I look over at Ron, and he's wearing, a ball cap, and he's got his T-shirt and his blue jeans on, And
his uniform, yeah.
He goes up to her and he shakes her hand, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we were just out scouting locations for our next film."
Pimp.
Yeah, right.
Straight pimp. That's what I loved about him, man. He was just like, he was like this guy who just stood out. It seemed like he was a documentarian of Southerners 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? And it was just like, he lived there, he lived amongst them. He wasn't really but he knew how to talk to people and schmooze and stuff. He was a very good schmoozer. He was an incredibly good schmoozer.
Oh yeah, he was likable. Like that Thurston guy, Mr. Kava. Like his arm has got to be tired. Can you not see his arm that is up? Monkey, can you see his arm?
Look, man, I'm lucky.
I'm looking over here. I'm thinking somebody's directing traffic. I don't know what's going on.
Look, I'm rowing this boat one-armed, and I'm out near Easter Island, and I can't even, so we're trying here, brother. Well, okay, now that he called you out, Thor, in a good way, would you like to respond to that? No, I don't, because I don't remember the question. I just smoked a really nice bowl in the break.
Not to that. It reminded me of a story about Shane. He was such an autograph hound and Hollywood hound. He had gone to some Comic-Con so he could get Carrie Fisher's autograph, man. And he stands in line for like an hour, and there's this total douchebag who's in front of him, who's all, "Oh, I hate Star Wars. I hate Star Wars." And you were talking about how Shane was such a character. You look at him and you could immediately tell, right? So this guy gets up to Carrie Fisher, and she's all like, "Oh, what's your favorite movie?" And he says, "Oh, I don't even like it. I don't even like this series. It's for children. I'm getting it from my brother." And hands her this gold Sharpie or whatever to sign it with, and she signs it, "Blow me, Carrie Fisher." And he like loses it, right? And Shane loses it, and she's so taken with Shane. She's like, "Bring this guy over here. I've got to have a Polaroid with him,"
Oh,
But
nice.
that's just absolutely how that guy was, man. Like anywhere he went in Columbus, it seemed like somebody recognized him. You go out to eat with him, somebody recognizes him. If the people who run the restaurant don't already love him.
Yeah, he was. I mean, you had people like the sidewalk superintendent, dude.
Oh yeah, the whole town's filled with characters. It's sort of anybody I've told about up here. It's a bizarre place. Like 25. I feel like I served a 25-year sentence there for the first part of my life. But it's a bizarre place that's filled with characters, Which it's a lot of poverty. It's a lot of violence. It's the first place people run to when they've committed murder in Memphis, and then they're trying to get over the border to Alabama 15 miles away. It's just not the best place to be. Like that's one, that whole place is actually pretty interesting. It's been there damn near since the founding of the country. It's been a crime-ridden shithole the whole time. It's never stopped being a place with profound race issues and huge amounts of racial tension. And the police there are just astoundingly corrupt. The whole reason he's doing that, they have been the whole time. I'm just saying this, don't hold anybody responsible for me, but the mayor for forever, Robert Smith, was my 8th grade principal. That dude was reputed to be a vice lord. When they fired the police force and made everybody rehire when they got that interim chief, I can tell you right now, half the officers that they hired were kids that I'm pretty certain that I went to school with that were gangsters. It's just a wild place. The police issues have never stopped. I remember one week the cops bust into the wrong address on a drug raid twice because they went to street instead of avenue. There's the level of incompetencies there is astounding. Anybody who grew up there like me, it's easy to believe that, oh yeah, probably the cops covered up his mom getting murdered because of a CI that was involved. That might seem fantastical to anybody watching it. Who's like, why would they even spend the time? But in a place that small, where your reputation often means so much, it might not be the easiest thing for them to get those CIs. So for a lot of us, it's pretty easy to believe that. But yeah, I guess my whole point being Columbus is just a pretty well a terrible place, unfortunately.
Yeah, I lived, I spent a 31-year sentence in Mississippi. I got out on good behavior, and but while I never really experienced violent crime in LA and definitely not in New York, but I remember when I worked at WCBI, me and 2 coworkers, we got robbed at gunpoint, and these guys, remember, what was it, the Casanova Club that was right next door to the TV station. It was this nightclub, and it was notorious for people like having shootouts and stuff there. So these three cats roll up in the parking lot, and they said, "Oh, you guys work here?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they pull out this sawed-off shotgun that was wrapped in places in duct tape, right? And the guy sticks it like right in my ribs there, right under my titty. And he said, "Get those wallets out." And the funny thing was, I think I was the only one who was out of actual cash, because he took $7 from me. The coworker just had his paycheck in there, and they decided not to take his paycheck. And then the other guy was the weather guy who made the most out of all of us. He didn't have his fucking wallet on it, you know. So they ended up with $7. I mean, you know, and then the next day the cops found the fucking sawed off duct tape shotgun in these bushes next to a house, and one of the cops picked it up, and the gun accidentally went off and blew a hole in the side of the house.
Columbus PD in action.
Bam, 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 bam. Oh man, we were there till like 3 or 4 in the morning, I think. Or I don't know what it was. It was so late. And they were like flipping through this. Was it these guys? Was it these guys? I don't know, man. It's dark, and you know, I don't fuck, you know. But they eventually ended up catching some dudes. But I think that's a good segue.
Also astounding. Like I heard, I'm not sure, but I heard that the first 48 went to Columbus and just gave up, basically. Like, there was the reputed serial killer that kills old people that they came and checked Shane out about. Like, that's a story. He had been writing, I think, the Smiley Face Killer. And the guy wrote our local newscaster. I can't remember his name, but he was the guy that went on to be the mayor.
Oh, Jeffrey Rupp.
And he was friends with Shane. Yeah, he wrote Jeffrey Rupp and told him, hey, this guy, I've been teaching to be a serial killer through the mail. And the fucking FBI shows up, takes Shane's fingerprints, takes his blood, all of this shit, so that they can rule him out. You know, and that's not the first time he'd been met with the federal authorities. He had the Secret Service show up during the campaign, because when he in a newspaper interview, when they asked why he was doing it, he joked he was doing it to impress Jodie Foster. When he was like 12 or 13, man, he had written John Hinckley. And so the Secret Service sends an agent up from Jackson. This poor schmuck's got to drive like 4.5 hours, right? Oh, he's going to catch somebody. Oh, he's going to catch somebody.
Yeah, the next Luke Woodham. They probably thought he was going to be the next Luke Woodham, you know? That's what they were hoping.
Oh, dude, no, this was before that. Like, Woodham's like 94, 97. No, that was after I graduated in 96. I want to say it was 97, right? And this was back in, I want to say, like 91, 92.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, he said he was born in 81. He said he wrote it when he was 13. So it would have been like 92, 93.
Yeah, you shit on math, man. It's 94, okay? I got this.
I was raised in Mississippi. You can't blame me. I can barely read. But so this agent gets there, pounds on the door, right? Little Shane answers, hi, looking up at him. Guy's looking over his head. I'm looking for Shane Ballard. That's me. 10-minute conversation with his great-grandparents who took care of him later. Guy's leaving in a huff and peels the fuck out.
You know what that reminds me of? He went all the way from Jackson to Columbus for nothing. And me and Michael Creel went all the way. We did the reverse. We went all the way from Starkville to Jackson to watch that piece of shit movie Highlander 2. And brother, that was a long road back. Oh my goodness. We were so excited. We were like teenagers. We were like, we love Highlander. There could be only one. And he said that for a reason, because there should have been only one. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. I gotta do this shit because oh, never mind, I can't do this. No kittens. My kittens are gone. Fuck that. Anyway, Alec, I've ignored you enough. Come back to me, my friend. Where are you?
Oh, just chilling with the Kurgan.
Listen.
It's wild.
Holy ground, Highlander. Remember what Ramirez taught you. I love that fucking movie, man. I saw that over at Tad Parsons' house on VHS, and like right after, like once it got to VHS, and I wish I had seen that in the theater. I was just like, fuck yeah! Why is Sean Connery's a Spanish dude, and then the whole French shit? Whatever. It was fun. It was like Princess Bride kind of shit, and I was like, oh, I loved it. Anyway, tangent. It was a great movie. So, but Highlander 2 was not worth that trip to Jackson. And I think we smoked copious amounts of pot after that. I'm not sure. My memory's a little hazy. But I want to get back to the crime part of all this. So Shane's mom allegedly fell out of a truck. Blood, a red spot on the truck seat that wasn't paint. I mean, it's pretty much somebody offed her. It's just a matter of why. I mean, it's just a matter of like a scorned lover type situation. I mean, I know some rednecks down there get hot headed. Very, very, with their women.
I've got my own theory, but as usual, my theories are absolutely wild and crazy because I'm a paranoid conspiracy theorist. So,
I mean, it's not like any of us are, law and ordering on this, bling bling. It's I don't remember. See, like, I didn't know the story until they were actually filming the show. I mean, the documentary. And that's when I learned about that. I was like, holy shit. I knew his mom died, but I didn't know how she died. And,
if you go back and look at the newspapers from that era, which is something I've personally spent a lot of time doing online, you're going to find a whole lot of people died under weird circumstances like that seemed related to the police. And I can't really get into the cause because I don't know it. But the best I've got suspicions.
Well, yeah, and that's about all we've got as well. Like I said, I mean, Chris and I, we left Mississippi at the end of 2003, and while we, this was like basically all you had was like internet. I mean, this was before Facebook and stuff, so you didn't really, and you texted people and stuff like that. So that's how you found out about stuff. And we had heard he had killed himself, and I had found, I think on his IMDb page, there was comments and people were speculating about why he died and why he killed himself. And the only thing that I can think of is because the money ran out. Because he got a sizable amount of money when his mom died, right? Or was it, how did...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As I recall, and keep in mind, this is like 90s money. This isn't modern standards. But as I recall, he got something like $100,000.
Right.
And he pretty well lived relatively cheaply, but with some big purchases, and he always ate out. He didn't know how to fucking feed himself. But
well, you saw that stove, right? There was nothing.
He was making a lot of money online, man. Like, I want to say a lot. And I can tell you right now, somebody was ransoming him out of his money and hitting his bank account intermittently. And so he took all of his money out and put it into PayPal, and then it got locked. Like, he got locked out somehow, which is pretty bizarre. But he was, look, man, Shane associated with some weird people. You got me? And and it's a sensitive subject for everybody who's here. I'm not trying to open old wounds or anything like that. But if you want some context,
Right.
Shane associated with some very bizarre people. In that era, some of the people he was in communication with were associated with, music, the music scene, Hollywood. And I'm not trying to sound like one of those people, but specifically with like industrial music. This is something we talked about a lot. I introduced him to some of those people because I knew some folks like Paul Raven and some people associated with like Skinny Puppy. And so I know he was in communication with them, and he was in communication with what's her name? Tina Weymouth. He was in communication though with Genesis Peorage. And if you look into the history around that guy, you can fall down some real deep rabbit holes, and they tie back to Charles Manson. So I can't give you any more than that, but I have some uncomfortable feelings related to all that, and I can't really be any more clear than that.
Well, I'm trying to pull this up here. Apparently, no, that's not it. Screw it. I'll just read it here. So, I was reading in one of his, I think it was on IMDb. And what it said was in, one of the fun facts or whatever, was that before he died, he was supposed to do some collaboration with Hassel Adkins. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, so one of the stories about...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was the one being an asshole.
You rude motherfuckers. Go ahead.
So when Shane killed himself, Danielle, who we mentioned before, she's like Madonna, just has the one name. She got on that computer. She's smart. She got on that computer and immediately started like saving stuff and going through history and figuring out. So according to Danielle, Shane he had added to his IMDb trivia that like the date he died, because he's about to kill himself. And he, according to the time stamps of when this had happened, it appeared to Danielle like Shane had probably gone into his room and closed everything up and was about to fall asleep into death. And then he remembered, oh, Hassel! So Hassel Atkins is a I don't want to really call him a folk artist. I mean folk art, like an outsider artist. So his stuff falls into the country western spectrum. And there's a really great movie called R.I.P. Rest in Pieces about the artist Joe Coleman. So if you're familiar with that flick, Hassel Atkins appears in that movie. But anyway, he's just this real eccentric guy. He's making country music, painting, and doing outsider art type of stuff. Shane had to drop out of that collaboration to run for sheriff. So, but the funny thing to me is Shane's sitting there dying from carbon monoxide poisoning. He's like, oh wait! Let me get up real quick and log back into IMDb so the world can know that he almost collaborated.
Whenever I think about that, I always laugh. Like it's a final joke from him, live by the grill, die by the grill.
Yeah, that dude wasn't grilling nothing. Oh, and real quick, part of the quickness was Shane was raised by his great-grandparents after his mother's murder. His great-grandparents.
Yeah, his grandmother did.
When he died, the grandparents swooped in, threw away anything that was remotely offensive or scary, and sold the rest of the shit. So someone in Columbus, Mississippi bought the grill, or maybe there were 2 grills. Somebody bought those things at a yard sale, and I guess they've enjoyed some fine meats.
I hope Shane haunted those fucking grills.
Oh no, but this is my favorite. Some woman, because our friend Brian Gibson, who's also a musician and artist, he was trying to buy some of his stuff back because you don't want to be leaving your stuff at some guy's house that's going to kill himself. Wait, so Brian's at the yard sale to buy back his records and stuff, and he overhears this older woman saying, "Oh, this will look great in my grandchild's nursery." She's holding one of those Gacy paintings we saw in the movie. So somewhere in Columbus, Mississippi, an African American child grew up looking at Poe the Clown.
So that's astounding.
And Shane, I live right up the street from where Shane's buried because some of us like Columbus, you archy bastard. And yeah, Shane does have a tombstone, but it's a tombstone. It's a chunk of marble that our friend Danielle put there because they never even bought him a tombstone. I mean,
that's a little they cared for him, man. But one thing I meant to bring up before, because you were saying in terms of collaboration, he had gone with, I think, Aaron Dunn to do a movie called Terror Tunes 2, and he was playing the son of Satan. Who did that movie?
That's Joe Castro. Joe Castro. It was now I don't know when the last time he's directed a film, but he does special effects work. I think exclusively now.
He did with the porn circles forever, right?
Correct. Yeah. It was Alex Barton and I rented the first Terror Tunes from Hollywood Video, and we knew that Shane had sent photographs of himself off to Lloyd Kaufman at Troma, and that was one of his bucket list things. You know, he wanted to be in a exploitation movie, and we didn't know Shane. We had just met him. What's that?
I said, who doesn't want to be in an exploitation?
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, Shane contacted Joe Castro and ends up playing the son of Satan in Terror Tunes 2. Yeah.
Did he?
Porn stars are saying like, Joe's a genius.
Did they fly him out and everything, or did he have to do that on his dime?
Joe Castro, if you're listening, I apologize if this is incorrect. I believe it was more like, if you can get out here, you're in the movie, buddy.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I think Shane slept on dude's couch, like flies into town, sleeps on his couch, wakes up the next day, shoots the scene, and then I think got on the plane that night to come back home. Shane bought 2 tickets so he wouldn't have to sit next to anybody.
Well, I mean, can you blame him?
Oh, that little Ford Ranger we used to drive around with him in, and he just spit on the dash?
Oh
my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, the dash. I think one time he also vomited there.
Yeah, that's
I'm sure it was probably more than one occasion he vomited in that truck. I would bet all of your money on that for sure. And
Shane he wasn't a big drinker or anything like that. He was asthmatic. Towards and you do see drinking in the movie, but Shane was definitely. Well, I mean, he knew he was going to kill himself, so I don't know if some of that was he just wanted to do some things he'd never done before. But there was some copious drinking at the end. But before then, Shane was not that kind of guy. He wasn't really interested in mind-altering stuff.
He wasn't like, we never got stoned together or anything. I think we were trying to get him some edibles or something, but he wasn't into that. But we drank a lot of beer at the Princess. I know that. We had the cleanest kidneys in the Princess. I want to get Monkey Boy, Captain Peon back in here because I want to go back to those 2 months. Like, so Shane offs himself. And my theory is he had always said at the coffee shop, I mean, he didn't say it all the time, but at least once or twice he had told me, he said, when the money dries up, I'm going to kill myself. And hello?
Oh, what just happened?
All right, you non-technical types. But the thing, yeah, feedback, kill your, don't get your mics next to the speakers there. So long story short, right? So he had said that, and we had left, right? And I remember I got an email from Shane because we were out there. I was working this retail gig, and it wasn't making that much money off the bat, and we were trying to get this place. And so I borrowed a little money from Shane. I'd never borrowed money from Shane before, and I was like, I was bad enough. I was like, okay, I'm going to borrow $100 from Shane, right? So I had borrowed that like a few months earlier. Not long before he killed himself, he had sent me another email. He said, hey man, I'm not trying to be a pest or anything. He said, but do you think maybe you could send that money back? And I was thinking to myself, well, okay, Shane usually wouldn't sweat something like that if he was helping a friend, right? I mean, if he had money in the bank still. So that led me to believe, oh shit, the money done dried up. And then like not long after that, he took his life. So I think that's what happened. And then, like I said, I'm no, Nancy Drew or any of that shit, but I mean, that just kind of.
I'm trying to say he didn't take his life, and I want to be very clear on that. Like I said, that's what I was talking about is more related to his mom. And maybe a lot of the killings that were going on at that time around his mom, and maybe some of the people related to it. Like, right. I want to be really clear with that. And yeah,
Well, and the reason I mentioned that was because in some of those comments on IMDb, they were speculating about, and they thought maybe he was murdered, I'm like, why? I was thinking, well, why would you murder someone who lost the race?
No,
they can't do anything, But I mean, there could have been other reasons. But but I just don't believe that that it happened. And so but there were some people in the comments who were saying that. They were saying, oh well, he killed himself for this reason. He did this, that, and I was thinking, well, you didn't know the guy, and probably more than likely that's what happened. But I mean, before we get to that, I want to talk about Tibbet. I thought that was more suspicious because of the timing, and I think actually
you thought Ron's death was more suspicious.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, he died like on the same road he travels all the time, and then it happened. I mean, I don't know. I never saw any of the reports or anything like that. It just seems like, putting my tinfoil hat on, it just seemed just kind of like a suspicious coincidence, that maybe, because Ron, I mean, it was actually, he didn't he put that in a few, Chris, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you remember, like, afterwards, do you remember talking to Tibbet about, like, how many film festivals and stuff he had taken Citizen Shane to? Did he ever mention anything about that?
No, but I thought, like, one of those forms that I found in the hard drive, I sent you on the Dropbox, or in the Dropbox.
Right. Hang on.
He had a list of festivals that it was accepted to, and I think it was probably around 6 or 7, maybe, including the MAG. Yeah.
Hang on just a second. I'm trying
to. One of the things I think about now, watching that film this many years later, and thinking about like how everything ties together about like him running for sheriff, and it ties together with his mom and her mysterious death and all that stuff. And you wonder, or at least I do, and I'm wondering if you feel the same way, Monkey, is that I wonder if I could go back in time to when all that took place, you know, and like see if she would go out with me, because she looked pretty hot.
Oh yeah.
Wrong, or?
Are you? Oh my jeez. Jesus.
Come on, man.
Well, I can't say much seeing I'm wearing the I Heart Porn shirt. I know, like, see, so Chris and I left, and so we were out of the loop. Like, I mean, we still had people we talked to back there, but we weren't there, right? So it's not the same thing. And you know, so I was getting piecemeal this stuff, and then all of a sudden, you know, I was hearing it one right after another. First, it was, you know, it was Tibbet, and then you know, then Shane, and then what was it the next year? I think was it Dennis Hudson passed away too. So it was like all these people just all at once. Yeah, it was like they were very close.
Another dude, David Estes, that was pretty well known around there.
What's that?
Another dude named David Estes that was pretty well known around there.
I don't remember David Estes. Maybe I do. Was he a character too?
He was a character, man. He had grown up around there, been there the whole time, moved off a little bit, but moved back while you were still there, and was a denizen of the Princess Coffee Shop.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure I ran into him at one point or another. Yeah, so I mean, we'll never know the motivations. I mean, look at law enforcement nowadays. You know, it's, you know, we knew this shit back in the days about Columbus cops, you know, busting people with pot, and then they take the pot and sell it themselves or smoke it themselves. Before we go any further, let me look at the chat here and see who else is all up in here. Angel Jaws on. Thank you for showing up. 8 viewers. What is going on here? I hope these are all people that I know. And if I don't know you, I know you in spirit. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all. No prizes tonight, not yet. Well, maybe once we start making money off this bullshit, we can, you know, send you like a, I don't know, one of those magic 8 balls, but we'll take the thing out. So you're like, damn, this shit doesn't work, but hey, it's free. Anyway, guys, we're at the 240 mark. How you feeling? You got one more round of convo in you? Maybe like another 10 minutes? What's going on?
Sure.
Yeah, now that I'm not wearing the headphones, is anything different?
Yeah, you still you still look like Ewan McGregor. I'm sorry. You need to fix that shit.
Wait,
yeah, you look like Ewan McGregor without headphones. You crazy bastard.
Well, hello there.
You look like you're in a prepper bunker. Are you in a Hey, Alec, are you in a bunker?
Welcome to hell.
That looks like a prepper bunker. Because I saw that bed back there. I got one of those too. I got one of those loft beds. I love those things. I'm sitting under one right now.
With my son. I'm actually chilling in his room.
How many kids you got?
I got one kid.
How old is he?
He's 7.
7? Ugh.
Yeah. He's gonna freak when he sees this old man in the live stream. He's gonna be like, Dad, you're gonna have to delete that. Why?
Nah, just say, you know, it's all cool. You know, we're just playing on the internets. Going
down.
Well, I think, it's been 18 years since they made the documentary, and it's coming up on the anniversary of his death in August. I think Ron's is coming up pretty soon. I know it was like June or July. Yeah, I know. I only put the dates on there. You'd think my stoner ass could figure that shit out, but anyway, you know, in putting that thing together, I had to watch it a couple of times all the way through, and it's always just a joy to watch that film and know that we still have a little piece of Shane and Ron with us, you know, as long as the digital holds out, you know, we'll always have this. And I'm going to make sure that this is going to be on, like I said, on the channel as a replay. So if you missed any of the show, you know, you can just watch it. Yes, someone's allergic. Anyway, what was this? Remember that tape he had of like every Hollywood prop? Yeah, Don knew a shitload of people. Shane's death hit him pretty hard, and he offed himself in his hotel room about a week later. Who was Don Stewart, the DJ that was doing some game show night stuff with Shane at the Princess? Okay, thanks, Exploding Varmints. I always just thought he was just a treasure. I mean, he was just like so. I don't know. I had already started my training of desensitivity by listening to a few Sam Kinison albums and you know, some Mitch Hedberg and stuff like that before I met Shane. And you know, the first thing we did, we just started riffing on these, you know, non sequiturs from these old TV shows that I remember seeing as a little kid, you know, like making all the family references and stuff like that. It's like, he had an old soul, you know, he had a very old soul. So, and I think his soul in video and in spirit too. I think it's gonna, because we always think about him, you know, we always think about those guys, so that's how we know they're always with us. So I want to go around the whole. I want to go around the horn here, and probably need to go ahead and wrap this up. Get your final thoughts. We'll start with Monkey Captain Peon. Any final thoughts about Ron or Shane or the movie or the editing experience or anything like that?
No, I mean, I'm glad I'm a part of it because I can watch that documentary. Like I haven't seen it in a while, but it was good to watch it again. Hated it while I was editing, just because watching a scene over and 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 over, and then have Ron like change his mind like 2 or 3 times, and you end up just doing the original thing you done. You know, that was. But glad to be a part of it. Good to watch it again. Good to see it again, and really good to see Alec. I haven't seen you in forever, bro. It's really good to see you. So,
yeah, man, you look exactly the same, maybe a little hotter. So yeah, this is really nice. Thank you, Warren, for having us here, and also thanks to the Cisco kid. Because you might be a dude, you might be a girl. If you are a girl, are you single? But
they were a friend of mine. Are you talking about Steven Cisco, the guy's name that says Steven? I don't know if the chick's
yeah. What we need tonight, Steven.
There's Stevie Nicks, but that's she's not Steven Nicks.
Well,
sidebar there.
But yeah, Ron Tippett, he's a good guy. You know, made something very cool happen in Mississippi. I know it's cool to not like Mississippi, but you know what? How many people do you live with? How diverse? You know, maybe we have race problems down here because there's actually people that don't look like us here. You ever think about that, Thor? You left Mississippi to get away from all the black people. You racist bastard. Anyway, and Shane Ballard, great guy. I hate that he killed himself. Think about him every day. But he did tell me, Alec, I've done everything I ever wanted to do. So I'm out of here. Some crazy shit, man.
I tell you,
yeah.
I wish he had held out a couple more years from when YouTube came out, because it came out 2006, right? I think.
For sure, yeah. I think about that every time I'm on YouTube. I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, he was born for YouTube. He was born for YouTube. Yep. I mean, all the shit that he filmed, and he had all kinds of videos and stuff like that. My God, he could have been like I think he could have been the very first huge YouTube star, just because on charisma, on character, on talent. I mean, the fact that he was funny and would do crazy characters and stuff like that, but he was a fucking musical genius too. And all that, it was just like, just a couple more years, buddy. Just wait a couple more years. We'll get, but it is what it is. He's no longer with us, and there's nothing we can do about it. But all we can do is just, keep them in their hearts. You got anything final to say? You want to say, Alec?
I want to say, thanks for having me. I'm gonna figure out the Mac thing. I'm going to figure out the mic thing, because I'm using a Dell instead of a Mac. That's the problem. But yeah, that was my way of saying I'd love to be back on the show with different feedback next time.
No,
I'm glad to even know about the show. I thought you were mad at me. I was like, I never hear from Warren. He must hate me. He and Steven are probably talking shit.
No, man. I'm kind of a hermit these days. If you don't text me, or if you're not on like Twitter or maybe Facebook sometimes, I'm not on Facebook hardly ever. I think I saw a lot of people. I pop in there every few months or something, and I noticed like a lot of people have deactivated their accounts, and it's like, okay, well, and I noticed you had too, and so that's why I couldn't get a hold of you, because I didn't have any other contact with you. So that's your fault, because you're a fucking asshole.
Yes.
But anyway.
It's not safe out there anymore, man. Try like this in Mississippi. Watch what happens to you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna come down to Possum Town. Now you forget, I used to own that town, motherfuckers. Sorta.
Dude, so much sex.
I worked for people who own that town, all right? So I was a player. I was in the game, mister. Ah! Those fucking cows. Anyway, fuck those cows and their judgmental ass bullshit. Anyway, so Thor, King of the Jungle.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. Any wise words? Anything you want to say as we're heading out here?
It's man, it's been bizarre. I got this film basically right as I moved up here, and it was great to be able to. Do you know? No, I don't think anyone else on Earth gets a video to introduce people to both their best friend and the context they came from, sort of. Which I want to say, I moved up here basically because I couldn't find any opportunity back home, and I think a lot of people ended up that way, because if you don't fit in with the culture there in some way, then it becomes hard even to find employment. As for ethnicities, man, I don't know. I've never had more different ethnic food than I have up here, prepared by the people who are actually making it. That's a shout out to Steve Sisko. But in reality, I've never had more friends that were more diverse back home. It was pretty much, I know black people, I know white people. That's what I grew up with. Arkansas was surprisingly diverse, you know. It was a real contrast to that area where it's really black and white, and a lot of people seem to see the world in a real black and white sense. And if they don't really want to make room for people who are outside of that paradigm culturally, who are characters, like you said, which is why the town crawls with them, I think. Up here, I don't see as much of that, but I have met people of almost every ethnicity. The last place I was working was 90% Indian. It was the largest apartment complex in the area. And it's something like 500,000 people in the general metropolitan area up here, you know? Columbus is, I mean, I miss Columbus a lot in many ways. I don't think you spend 25 years anywhere and make a lot of joyful memories without doing so. And shit, I don't think I miss Columbus more than when I get that phone call about Shane. But yeah, man, no, it's wild. That film, I think is one of the strangest cultural artifacts a person could come across. Honestly,
it is. It's a treasure. It really is. It's the only thing I think that that and Toots and Tina when Shane and I did that together.
Oh God.
I'm gonna actually, I've still got the Christmas show. I don't have the video for it, unfortunately. I wish I knew somebody who did. But I still have the audio. But so I'm gonna at least put those up on my War Deer Entertainment page. And you know, so at least you'll have the tracks if you feel like playing them. That sort of thing.
So you never got that 9/11 1-year anniversary special.
No, I did. Thank you for that.
Thank God. I was sitting here thinking, like, man, not only did I like destroy all the films and the Charles Manson letter, but I sent the only copy of the Toots and Tina show in the mail to you, and it got lost. So that's cool. That's a nice piece of clothing you can walk away with.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong. It did get lost. It's just lost somewhere in this shitty apartment. I gotta dig it up. I mean, there's a treasure trove in here of shit I gotta just clean out. So I mean, it's in here. I still have the Manson All the Way Live CD that Shane gave me, still wrapped. Never opened
Don't
it.
tell it, but if you did, you'd make a bit.
I don't know. I mean, it's. Maybe, I don't know, but I gotta find it first. So for right now, it's safe. It doesn't have to go into witness protection right now. So, guys, it's 11:19 over here on the East Coast. I think all you guys are Central Time. I want to thank all you guys for coming out and being a part of this. I know we were all a part of it before when it was going on, and a lot of us were a part of it leading up to it. And to know a good soul like Shane's is definitely something that you can say, that you can check off your bucket list, that you met one of the most genuine, kindest, craziest motherfuckers in the fucking galaxy. 100%. And you need those people in your life. You need those good time crazy people. And sure, they may have a little bit else going on in the crazy, but you know, you keep them on the good time crazy as much as possible, so you steer away from the bad time crazy. And Shane was surrounded by enough people that loved him like he was a blood brother, you know. He may have been like an only child biologically, but he had one of the biggest families I think that anybody could ever want to. So I just want to thank you guys We're not going to do the Irish dancing people dancing in hell like we usually do to close this thing out. But I just want to thank Christopher White, Alex Hawkins, Thurston Carver. You guys are my brothers. Even when we don't speak for months or years, we're all family. We're all part of that North Mississippi family. And like Thor said, don't fall into the trap of everybody's a bunch of hillbillies down south and nobody's smart or nobody cares about culture, nobody cares about the arts. Go to a little coffee. What's that?
There's so many people there, man. I just want to reiterate, like, if I made it sound like in any degree they don't, Columbus has a ton of artists. There's a ton of people who think outside the box, and almost all of them are sort of made to feel bad about it by the general culture.
Yeah, and that's why the Princess Theater was like Austin is to Texas. That's kind of like how the coffee shop was to North Mississippi. And maybe there were people in Tupelo that had their little crew of misfits and puppety oddballs and stuff too. I'm sure every small town has those, but ours, we had the benefit of having a really cool place to hang out, a really cool place to be creative, and a really cool place to find, those people that aren't normal, that aren't your garden variety, people. And that's good. You need to find strangers, and you need to find strangers who are strange, as long as they don't offer you candy and try to give you a ride somewhere, then probably want to yeah. Anyway, I want to thank Chris and Alec and Thor for being with me tonight. I love you, brothers. You guys are all now friends of the show. Chris, I thought about this, how he said you come back and then you'll be a regular, but it's like the rule of three. It's like, was it 1 is an accident, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern, right? So we have to get you to a third appearance, and when we do, then you will be a regular, all right? So that way you don't look like a poser. Like somebody who subscribe to Amazon for 30 days just so they get a bunch of shipped free, and then on the 29th day they cancel the free trial. Right. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, thanks guys. Have a great night. We're gonna get the fuck out of here. God bless you all. We'll be back again next week at our usual time at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, and 4 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks, everybody. Peace, and chicken grease. Peace biscuits to everybody. Much love. Rest in power, Shane and Ron. We love you, brothers. Have a good night, everybody. And be good.